Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kelly Levine, the Closet Coach, and I help professional organizers, designers, cabinet makers, and extremely talented DIYers design closets just like the pros. And this one today is probably more for the cabinet makers and the extremely talented DIYers. What we're going to talk about is what do you do when you want to go really high? If you've got let's say a 14-foot tall ceiling like my client did that I designed a closet for this week. He had a 14-foot tall ceiling and he wanted to go up 12 feet. So the problem that you run into is that most material, especially if you're dealing in melamines, only comes 8 feet tall. Some come 9. You might be able to get white in 10 feet. But what do you do if the material that you want to use only comes in an 8-foot height? That's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so these are the 3 elevations that I ended up with for this client that I was working with this week. And I'm not going to go over the design or how I decided to design it, but I do want to talk about how I decided to do the breaks. In other words, where was the stacking going to happen, and then what happens when you stack it? Because if you've got a maximum of 8 foot. That means that, oh, come on. That means that, normally in this closet, the maximum that you would have been able to do is go up to here. 96 inches is generally, most materials' maximum height. So in order to go higher, you've got to build basically a platform and then put another section on top. And you need to decide ahead of time how you're going to break those out. As it happened in this closet, I ended up breaking this in, different places on each wall based on the design. So I just want to talk a little bit about that, and then maybe a little bit more about what the platform or the base looks like. I know you cabinet shop guys, you're going to know how to put this construction together, but if you're doing this as a DIYer, it may not be quite as obvious what you need to do. So if we take a look at this first elevation, this had some drawers and then a small shelf section on the side. And what I did is I decided to go up 84 inches on this one. That way, all of these shelves above this drawer bank, they could be adjustable and you wouldn't have any fixed spots. Potentially another thing that could have happened was I could have actually broke it at the top of the drawers. That might be another place that would be good to break it. But, you can kind of see it's not going to be a good idea to break it here. I decided to go with 84 inches. You could go all the way up to, the 96 inch and break it there if you did have 96 inch material. But the other thing to think about is, how heavy and tall these pieces get. So, I picked 84 for this one. That it could have been maybe some other options, but again, think it through. What's going to be fixed and what's not. In the second section, it became a little bit more important because he wanted some mid hanging. In other words, some place to hang pants, like dress pants, full, not over a hanger. And he was rather tall. So generally, you're going to want about 54 inches of open space there from the rod. So I decided to break this at 60 inches because I also wanted some hanging above that. And I wouldn't have been able to get enough space there for his hanging if I would have broke it at 96 inches. You can see here, that's, the maximum height. This hanging would have been too low. So because I knew I wanted double hanging for some off-season things, I broke that at the mid-hanging height. And then of course on the shoe shelves, it wasn't as critical because those could have been adjusted, no matter how he wanted to. And yes, he did have enough shoes to fill up this entire thing. So he was very happy to see all those shoe shelves. Okay, and then the third section, I broke up. He's, like I said, was rather tall. So I broke this at 90 inches. They may decide to go up to 96, but he also wanted some luggage up here. And leaving that down at 90 gave me, basically 3 18-inch spaces. And this was going to be a deeper section, so it was going to be 20 inches deep, so he could get, some 4 carry-ons in here on a large piece of luggage there. So if you've got space, to go up and you're in a situation where you need more storage, this is really a great option to go up higher if you've got the wherewithal to be able to build this. But again, think these things through. Another option potentially could have been to break it here, but then you'd be dealing with really heavy, tall panels, going above that. So like I said, I chose the 90-inch break. Think these things through so that you don't lock yourself into a situation where you can't adjust what you want to adjust. All right, and then I wanted to show you some pictures kind of what happens. This is a job I did a few years ago. This is done by a professional closet company, but it's, it's the same situation. This was a tall ceiling, and this material that she wanted to use did not come 9 feet tall. So we did a tiered system. So you can kind of see from this picture, you basically have your bottom sections here. And again, these are not broke at the same place. Your bottom sections, then you've got another piece that I typically make a little bit deeper. You don't probably have to. I call it a platform, but you can see that it's a little bit deeper here so that you don't have any problems stacking. And then you've got another whole section on top of that. So you kind of end up with 3 panels. Now, some of you guys, if you're building these more like a box, you might be able to just stack a box on top of a box. Custom closets that go together with the cam systems, you can't just put, this piece on top of this piece. It's gonna move too much. They have to be locked in. Okay, so here's another view of that. And again, this was a midsection, so it's broke up here. The platform is up here. This is a double section, and so the platform is down here. And then this is just another look at, this full, this would basically be the bottom part. And then you've got another whole thing on top. This does take, more material. You're going to have more cuts. You're going to have to think this through, but it can turn out really beautiful. And that's what you need to do if you want to go higher than what your material is available in. Okay, that's what I've got for you today. Just a short video. I really appreciate all the people that have been leaving me comments. I love to see what you guys are working on and how I can help. If you need a closet and this is all just too overwhelming, there's a link below to have the design done for you. And there's 2 separate options. One is for a reach-in closet, so a little bit less expensive to get a reach-in closet designed, and just make sure you've thought things through. And then a walk-in closet. If you're interested in learning how to design and sell closets, there's also a link for that below for the closet course. Let me know what you're working on. Have a great week. Just an update. We are moving to Idaho. Things are moving very fast. I've got to start packing, so I don't know if we're going to have our, my wonderful picture and my same place that I'm sitting, but we'll be sitting somewhere and I can share my screen anywhere. So we'll keep going on videos, and yeah, we'll just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.